Welcome to C-Suite TV Insights. I'm Gregg Greenberg. Even as political gridlock stalls a number of ESG advances, there are corporations and corporate leaders who are seeing their environmental, social, and government strategies literally pay off. Here to talk about how Royal DSM is boosting its bottom line, even while it makes the world a better and cleaner place, is Hugh Welsh. He's the company's North American president. Welcome, Hugh.
Thanks, Greg. It's wonderful to be here.
Well, it's great to have you here. And before we get into Royal DSM's environmental strategies, tell me a little bit more about Royal DSM.
Thanks, Greg, for the opportunity. The acronym DSM actually stands for Dutch State Mines. And we started out as a coal mining company in the Netherlands 117 years ago. And over the last century, we've continued to evolve and adapt to be a company that's capable of meeting the changing needs of the world. First in petrochemicals, and now today, where we're the largest nutrition company in the world, making all the letter vitamins I'm sure you're familiar with, probiotics, enzymes, yeasts, food ingredients, engineering plastics that go into your electronics and your cars, biomedical materials, clean energy like solar and bio-based products such as biofuels. It's really a spectacular company that now more stands for do something meaningful than Dutch State Mines.
Let's talk a little bit more about clean energy. How is Royal DSM future-proofing the company with regard to climate change?
Yeah, we look at it in three ways. We improve our own operations, our own fuel, our own energy efficiency, our own greenhouse gas emissions, our own renewable electricity standards. We enable our customers to do the same by producing lower carbon products and helping them be more energy efficient and more sustainable. And more we find ourselves advocating in Washington or Shanghai or Brussels for a price on carbon, for climate change legislation, for measures that governments can do to make us all create a more sustainable planet.
And you also have the largest solar field in the state of New Jersey, right where your corporate headquarters is. Tell me about that.
Well, we certainly have to walk the talk on our own operations, and we're very proud of the fact that in January we opened not only the largest solar field in New Jersey, but it's the second largest net solar field east of the Mississippi. It covers 62 acres. It has 63,000 solar panels. Those solar panels actually have DSM technology on them, anti-reflective coatings. And at peak sunshine in June, they can produce 100% renewable electricity for a very large 500-acre manufacturing plant.
Tell me about Project Clean Cow. I mean, it sounds funny, but it's deadly serious, right?
It certainly is. I mean, most folks by now realize that cows are a meaningful contributor to greenhouse gas emissions, either through AOC's Green New Deal or in some of the other conversations we've had as a society over the course of the last few months with respect to cows, hamburgers, etc. Good news, you get to keep your hamburger because we make the cows cleaner. DSM has invented a feed ingredient we call Clean Cow or 3-NOP that inhibits the production of methane in a cow's stomach. And as a consequence, the methane emissions from the cow, and for the folks watching, 95% are burps, not out the rear end, we can reduce those methane emissions by up to 30%. And that is a meaningful reduction in methane emissions from cows. And there are 1.3 billion cows worldwide. So if we can get this feed ingredient in each cow, I think many of the countries around the world would be able to meet their Paris Accord commitments pretty easily.
All right, we've talked about carbon and solar. Now let's take a dip into water. You have a sustainable aquaculture division at Royal DSM. I'd like to hear about that.
Yeah, we formed a joint venture with the German company Evonik called Veramaris. It's the Latin word for green ocean. And what we do there is we produce an aquaculture feed that will enable folks to eliminate the need to feed fish, wild-caught fish, to grow farm-raised fish. So most people don't understand that to grow a pound of farm-raised fish, you need to feed them several pounds of wild-caught fish so they get sufficient omega-3 to grow. We've identified an algae, candidly under a rock up in Oregon, that we can put in a fermenter. We feed it dextrose or sugar, and it can produce high-potency EPA and DHA, or omega-3, that you can feed a farm-raised fish such that you never have to feed it a wild-caught fish. And to put it into some context, we're building a plant in Blair, Nebraska. That plant will open in July. That plant will be able to replace 2.5 million metric tons of wild-caught fish. That's the equivalent of all the wild-caught fish on an annual basis in the Mediterranean Sea.
And your executives are walking the talk as well with regard to their compensation. They're getting something called green bonuses. How do those work?
Yeah, we're a company where we put our money where our mouth is. I mean, literally our money. So the 350 executives in DSM worldwide, including myself, have half of our short-term incentive or our annual bonus and about half of our long-term incentive, our stock options, tied not to financial performance, but to sustainability metrics, things like greenhouse gas emissions, energy efficiency, employee engagement survey results, and safety. And what we found is it enables us to drive our strategy so much better up and down the line if everybody has a little bit of their own money tied to achieving these non-traditional results.
And then finally, how do all these sustainability initiatives affect your bottom line, the company's bottom line? Because you already pay a nice dividend, but it seems as though these green initiatives are also paying dividends.
Yeah, I mean, there used to be a time where they said a company had a choice. You can either do well or do good. And about 10 years ago, we decided, no, we're going to be the company that can do well and do good. And over the course of the last 10 years, in carrying out this corporate Darwinism, we've actually tripled our share price. And we trade on the Amsterdam Stock Exchange. During that time, the Amsterdam index was about flat. 2017 was a record profit year for DSM, and in 2018 it was even a better record profit year. We increased our EBITDA by 26%, and we expect 2019 to be pretty well as well. We pay a healthy dividend, our employees are very happy, we've repurposed our acronym, DSM, to stand for Do Something Meaningful, and we continue to return superior results for our shareholders.
Well, thanks a lot for coming on and talking about it.
It's been a pleasure.
And thank you for watching C-Suite TV Insights. I'm Gregg Greenberg.